A long time ago, there was a small town called Green Valley. This town was known for its beauty and simplicity. The people here were hardworking and honest. Among them was a young man named Jack. Jack lived in a small house on the edge of town. He was a quiet and solitary person. Jack loved reading and writing books. He often went to the town library and spent hours reading. Jack was an orphan. His parents died in an accident when he was a child. Jack lived with his grandparents, who were still alive. Jack loved his grandparents very much. He took great care of them. Jack's grandparents also loved him very much. They always wanted to see him happy. Jack was a bright student. He always got good grades in his class. Jack's teachers were also very happy with him. They knew that Jack was a talented student. Jack was destined to become a great man in the future. One day, Jack was sitting in the library reading a book. Suddenly, his eye fell on an old book. This book was by a famous American writer, Ernest Hemingway. Jack picked up the book and started reading. Jack loved Hemingway's story. He was very impressed by his stories. Jack decided that he would also become a writer. He wanted to write stories like Hemingway. Jack started writing. He wrote something every day. Jack's stories were very good. He expressed feelings and emotions very beautifully in his story. A few years later, Jack became a famous writer. His stories were read all over the world. Jack also won many awards. Jack was now a rich and successful man, but he was still a simple and modest person. Jack never forgot his grandparents. He always went to see them. Jack loved his grandparents very much. He knew that he had become a successful man because of them. One day, Jack went to see his grandparents. Jack's grandparents had become very old. They were now unable to walk. Jack told his grandparents that he was writing a new book. This book was about his childhood. Jack told his grandparents some stories about the book. Jack's grandparents were very happy to hear Jack's stories. They told Jack that they were always proud of him. Jack's grandparents told Jack that they would not live much longer. They wanted Jack to be happy even after their death. Jack was very sad to hear his grandparents' words. He knew that he would soon be separated from them. Jack promised his grandparents that he would always be happy. A few days later, Jack's grandparents passed away. Jack was very sad. He loved his grandparents very much. Jack wrote a book in memory of his grandparents. This book was about his childhood and his grandparents. Jack's book became very famous. It was read all over the world. Jack also won many awards. Jack was now a rich and successful man. But he was still a simple and modest person. Jack never forgot his grandparents. He always kept their memories alive in his heart. Jack knew that he had become a successful man because of them. Jack's story is a beautiful story. This story tells us that we should never forget our loved ones. We should always value them. We should always be happy. The end.